Right, everybody, we're about to start the meeting.
Okay, Jen? Yeah. Welcome. Can I take you to the first agenda item, appointment of chairperson? I am happy to chair. Could I have a proposer and seconder from the cabinet, please?
I propose, Chair.
Thank you.
Second, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to this hybrid meeting of Cabinet on the 19th of October 2022. I am Councillor Steve Hunt, leader of Neath Talbot County Borough Council. Can I welcome members of the public viewing this meeting? And can I ask you to please ensure your microphones is switched off? You are here to observe the meeting only. Please ensure that your phones are switched to silent for the duration of the meeting. And also, would all members and officers virtually viewing this meeting, please ensure that their microphones are switched to off unless you are speaking. In addition, when asked to raise your hand, if members who are virtually attending the meeting could raise your electronic hand, for members physically present, can you raise your hands here in the chamber? Agenda item 3 is declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? Please would members say what the items are and what the interest is. If yes, Jane will forward an electronic version of the form for you to complete and email back to her. Does anybody on Teams or in the room want to declare any interests, please?
I can see no hands raised, so there is no declarations, Chair.
Thank you, Jane. Agenda item 4 is public question time. I have received no notifications from the public to speak at today's meeting. Agenda item 5 is the Capital Budget Monitoring Report. The report is on pages 5 to 16 and is here for a decision. Do officers have any further comments to make on this report, please?
Nothing to add. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Hugh. Members, any questions? I'll go to Cabinet Member for Finance, Simon Noyle first, please.
Dear Chair, just to say that I'm grateful to Hugh and his team for pulling this together. It's a good report, and following on from what we heard in Cabinet scrutiny, that we'll get an update on the spend with regard to the Valleys Task Force, and that'll come back to us. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Councillor Noyle. Deputy Leader?
No, it's fine. It's fine, Leader. It's a similar point that the Cabinet member was going to make. Thank you.
I now refer members to their recommendations on page 8 of your agenda pack and the associated appendices. I will propose this agenda item. Could I have a seconder, please?
I second, Chair.
Thank you, Alan. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you're in favour of the recommendations, and Jane will confirm the outcomes. This agenda item has been approved.
I can see no indications to the contrary, Chair, so that item has been approved.
Thank you, Jane. Agenda item 6 is the Revenue Budget Monitoring Report 2022 to 2023. The report is on pages 17 to 34 and is here for a decision. Again, do officers have anything further to add? Hugh?
Just to take on board the comments of the Scrutiny Committee, Chair, and I'll make sure we circulate the relevant information as requested.
Thank you, Hugh. Members, any questions? Councillor Noyle, please.
Dear Chair, once again, I do apologise. Each one of the 4 items that have been chosen to scrutinise today fall within my directorates. So I wish to comment. In terms of the pay claims, obviously we're continuing to lobby Welsh Government for additional funding in terms of that. And I'm grateful to Hugh and his team for coming back to us with further information with regards to the schools in deficit, school meals and recovery positions, and receiving some further detail in due course. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Noyle. Any other Cabinet member? No? I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 26 of your agenda pack and the associated appendices. I propose this agenda item. Can I have a seconder, please?
Please to second, Chair.
Thank you, Alan. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendation, and Jane will once more confirm this.
I can see no indication to the contrary, Chair, so that item has been approved.
Thank you, Jane. Agenda item 7 is the Treasury Management Monitoring 2022-2023. The report is on pages 35 to 42 of your agenda pack, and it's here for monitoring. Do officers have anything further to add? Hugh?
I think it's self-explanatory, Chair, and as you say, it's for monitoring this afternoon, so thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions? I don't see any. That's all we need to do is to confirm the report is here for monitoring, so no decision is required. So everybody happy with that. Agenda item 8 is the annual Treasury Management Outturn Report 2021-2022. The report is on pages 43 to 56 and is with us for monitoring also. Do officers have anything further to add?
No, thank you, Chair. No.
Members, any questions? I see none. Again, we only need to confirm this report as it's here for monitoring, so no decision is required. Thank you. Agenda item 9 is the medium-term financial plan 2022-23 to 2027-28. The report is on pages 57 to 70 and is here for information. Do officers have anything further to add? Karen, please.
Chair, thank you very much. I think just in case any members of the public view the cabinet meeting, because I can see there's nobody actually on the call at the moment, but often people will view the footage back afterwards. I just wanted to really repeat a couple of the key messages that I made in the earlier scrutiny committee. I think first of all to say that we entered this financial year understanding that our communities would be experiencing financial hardship as a result of the growing cost of living crisis at that time. And the council took a number of decisions in that budget in order to try to alleviate and support our communities through what we thought was going to lie ahead. Within a very short time of setting that budget, we've obviously seen the horrendous conflict in Ukraine and all of the turmoil that's come with that. So just as households are finding their household budgets squeezed and facing new pressures, so is the council as well. The financial challenges we face as we look forward into next year are very, very challenging, and they're of a scale that exceeds and outstrips what we dealt with during years of austerity. So we've started the work leader to look at what size of problem we think we are likely to encounter in the next couple of years, given the indications that we're hearing from the UK government at the moment. And over the coming weeks and months, we'll be bringing forward proposals for members to consider so that we can plot a pathway through this. I just want to finish by repeating what I said in the scrutiny committee. We are acutely aware that we've got many disadvantaged and vulnerable people in our community, and they will be absolutely at the forefront of our minds, as will the objectives that the council set back in March. Not least the fact that we want to make sure all our children and young people have the best start in life. So that's absolutely the set of outcomes that we want to focus on. And we also want to make sure that we bring stability to the council and we support our work colleagues through the next year or so, which is going to be requiring scale change on another significant scale. And I think what we want to say is we're confident about the way in which we're approaching that. As challenging as it may well be, you've got an experienced team of people around you. And I think between officers and members, if we can provide the leadership that's going to be needed over the coming months and years, then we can be in a position where we can find a better pathway through this than if we decided to allow ourselves to descend into the same level of chaos that we're seeing in the Westminster government at the moment. And that's not a political statement.
Thank you for that, Chief Executive. Does any cabinet member want to make a comment? Councillor Noyle, please.
Diolch, Chair, me again. I'd like to echo what Karen has said there. This is a good report that has been produced. I think we owe a debt of gratitude to Karen and her predecessors and Hugh for the leadership and direction in terms of keeping Neath Talbot financially prudent through the years of austerity, which will put us in a good place at this time. We had a meeting yesterday, staff councils, and it was agreed that working together in partnership is the only way that we're going to get through this. The unions, together with the workforce, officers and directors, and all 60 of the elected members need to make sure that we're all working in tandem, working in the right direction, continuing to lobby the WLGA, Welsh Government and the UK Government to get the best possible outcome for Neath Talbot. We've got a cost of living crisis on Friday. I was going to mention it in Cabinet scrutiny, but forgot. Hopefully, as many of the 60 elected members as possible will attend so that they can be engaged and help with the process going forward. something that was touched on in cabinet scrutiny was the offices in particular, and I'm grateful to Karen and Simon Brennan and his team for carrying out the organisation development that's gone on into that. And I think it's important, using a phrase that I've heard on television quite a lot lately from UK government's perspective, but also I think it applies to us as well, that we should leave nothing on the table to identify, if we can identify something that's going to help us in the short, medium and long terms, then they should remain on the table until discounted or taken forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Noel. Any other cabinet member? Councillor Llewellyn, please. Deputy Leader.
Diolch yn fawr, Cadeirydd. Thank you, Chair, and thank you to Councillor Noel for the comments following up from the Chief Executive's report to us this afternoon. And I think it was said in scrutiny that the report presents a very progressive approach, reflected in the Chief Executive's comments to scrutiny members earlier and to Cabinet in the last few minutes, and our intention to do everything that we can to protect services, support our workforce, and maintain our commitments to our communities. And as well as the actions that we have outlined in the report, we will, as Councillor Noel has said, continue our representations on behalf of the people of Neath Talbot to Welsh Government, to UK Government, and to all other bodies that are part of decision making around budgeting and the provision of local government services. And I hope that we can have everybody's support in that endeavour. And I'd like to welcome the very constructive questions and points that were raised with us as part of the scrutiny session earlier on this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Llewellyn. Any other cabinet member? Can I just also add my thanks? I mean, I think Councillor Noel and Councillor Llewellyn have said all, and Karen, you have as well, our Chief Exec. We must never underestimate the quality that we have in corporate directors, heads of services, and our workforce, and they are key. I think Karen sort of highlighted that, our Chief Exec highlighted the importance of our workforce, and that's where Simon and Alan working, all of us with our union colleagues as well, is so critical. We are going to be facing some huge challenges, as been outlined already today, and we've got to start very quickly on that journey. I think as quick as we can get information out is going to be beneficial to this authority, so that everyone knows where we are. They're prepared for whatever is coming. We will not have decisions, of course, of information on funding completely until the dates mentioned, but we need to make a start, and I think Karen indicated that. So massive thank you to all our workforce and everybody who's involved in taking this forward. So thank you. The report is here for information, so no decision is required other than us to note the current financial position and receive further updates as part of the annual budget setting process. So it's noted. Thank you. Agenda item 10 is the response to the Welsh Government's consultation paper, a fairer council tax. This report is on pages 71 to 82 of your agenda pack and is here for a decision. So do officers have anything further to add?
Just a note, Chair, that the consultation responses are very technical in nature, and if Cabinet are minded to approve, we'll get those back to the Welsh Government. But as the report suggests, we will also draft a letter for you to actually send to Welsh Ministers, encouraging them to make some more progress in terms of delivering a fairer council tax system, which will be crucial for our residents, Chair. So if you're happy to support, we'll progress with that. Thank you.
Thank you for that, and certainly I'm sure we will all support that. Members, any questions? I see none. So before I go to the recommendation, I can see that the implementation of the decision is for immediate effect. So Councillor Rogers, Chair of Cabinet Scrutiny, are you happy to support this?
Yes, Chair.
This item would not be subject to the 3-day call-in process. Thank you, Councillor Rogers. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 73 as well as the associated appendices. I will propose this recommendation. If I could have a seconder, please.
Please to second, Chair.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations, and Jane will confirm this for me, please.
I can see no indications to the contrary, Chair, so that item has been approved.
Thank you, Jane. Agenda item 11 is the UK Shared Prosperity Fund implementation. The report is on pages 83 to 162 of your agenda pack, and this is here for decision also. Do officers have anything further to add?
Nothing further to add, Leader, but the officer who was delivering the funding is available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Nicola. Members, do you have any questions? Councillor Simon Oil, please.
Dear Chair, it's a question, I suppose. I have sent an email outside of this forum to the officer concerning it. I'm wondering when we will get any further information on what the anchor projects are, due to the fact that the first year of spending is due to be spent in 22-23. I'm just wondering if we have any sight of that to date, please.
Thank you.
Nicola, I can take that. My camera won't go on, unfortunately.
We can hear you though.
Okay, thank you. So the anchor projects came in yesterday for initial assessment. We're working with those 5 anchor projects for details. There's not enough detail at the moment, so we should be in a position by the end of next week, beginning of the following week. In terms of spend in the first year, we're conscious of the need to spend. However, we are building up a business case and how we can carry forward that spend into the second year, and that's when projects will start in earnest. But I will reply to your email when we have the sufficient detail.
Thank you, Lisa. Before I go back to Councillor Noyle, I'll bring in the Chief Exec, please. Karen, please.
Yeah, if I can just add as well, just to help Lisa really, because she's been working under immense pressure in pulling all of this together. But I think since the initial regional investment plan went in, clearly the economic situation has deteriorated. So we are really keen to make sure that we look at this again with Lisa, not to change the basis of the decisions you've been asked to make today in terms of the broad allocations of the fund, but we really need to be making sure that this money is working really hard for Neath Talbot, and it's targeting the objectives that's within the levelling up policy and the criteria that comes with that, but actually helps us navigate through this situation that I discussed earlier.
Thank you, Karen. Councillor Noyle, you would like to come back?
No, I completely agree, and thank you to Karen, and thank you to Lisa, and await further information. Thank you.
Thank you both. Any other member want to ask any questions? No? Before I go to the recommendation, I can see the implementation of this decision is also for immediate effect. So Councillor Rogers, as Chair of Cabinet Scrutiny, are you happy to support this?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 93 to 94, as well as the associated appendices, one of which is the integrated impact assessment. I will propose this agenda item. Could I have a seconder, please?
To second.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations. Jane, can confirm this for me, please?
Yes, Chair, I can see no indications to the contrary, so that item has been approved.
Thank you, Jane. Agenda item 12 is the Strategic Workforce Plan 2022 to 2027. The report is on page 163 to 222 of your agenda pack, and it's here for information. Do officers have anything further to add?
No, thank you, Leader.
Thank you, Sheena. Members, any questions? Sorry, Councillor Llewellyn, please.
Yeah, just very briefly, Chair, very much welcome the report that's before us today, and there was an excellent discussion with our union representative colleagues yesterday in Staff Council. A great deal of positivity towards this approach, and of course it does tie in with our medium-term financial plan that we discussed earlier on the agenda in terms of supporting and developing our workforce in every way possible.
Thank you for that, Deputy Leader, and I'm sure we all concur with the comments you have made. The report is here for information. No decision is required. The decision will be made at Personnel Committee on the 24th of October. Thank you. Agenda item 13 is a Corporate Plan Annual Report. This report is on pages 223 to 380 of your agenda pack, and is here for a decision. Do officers have anything further to add?
Nothing to add, Chair, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Karen. Members, do you have any questions? I see none. Okay, I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 227 and 228 and the associated appendices. I will propose this agenda item. Could I have a seconder, please?
Pleased to second, Chair.
Thank you, Alan. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations. Jane will confirm this for me, please.
I can see no indications to the contrary. Chair, so that item has been approved.
Oh, thank you, Jane. Agenda item 14 is the Welsh Language Promotion Strategy Review. The report is on pages 381 to 384 of your agenda pack, and it's here for decision. Do officers have anything further to add?
Nothing further, Leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Councillor Noel first then, please.
Diolch, Chair, and this is the last time you'll hear from me. The Deputy Leader, Councillor Llewellyn, and myself met with the officers concerning this before the Equality and Community Cohesion Group just last week, and I fully support this one. I know Councillor Llewellyn has more to add, but it's a good report and I'm happy that it goes forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Noel. Councillor Llewellyn, please.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr, Cadeirydd. Thank you, Chair. Just to add very briefly, during the scrutiny meeting earlier, Councillor Suzanne Paddison referred to the work of the previous Task and Finish group and reflected on what a positive experience it had been. And I fully concur with that because I was also a member of the Task and Finish group, on yourself, Leader, and it was, very positive process, and I'm sure that we, will draw on that in taking forward this new proposal.
Thank you, Councillor Llewellyn. I agree with you as well. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 382 to 383 on your agenda pack. I will propose this agenda item. Could I have a seconder, please?
Pleased to second.
Thank you, Councillor Llewellyn. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you're in favour of the recommendations. Jane, can you confirm this for me, please?
I can see no indications to the contrary, Chair, so that item has been approved.
Oh, thank you, Jane. Agenda item 15 is the Swansea Bay University Board Independent Member. This report is on pages 385 to 390 and is here for a decision. Do officers have anything further to add?
Nothing to add, Chair.
Thank you, Mike. Members, do you have any questions on this item? Councillor Neath Jenkins, please.
I'd just like to thank everybody who thought to nominate Joe Hale and myself for this, and we look forward to the decision made by the Welsh Government. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jenkins. Before I go to the recommendation, Councillor Rogers, as chairperson of Cabinet Scrutiny, are you happy to support the request for immediate implementation so the item can not be subject to the 3-day call-in process?
Very happy, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Rogers. I now refer members to the recommendations on pages 386 of the agenda pack. I will propose this agenda item. Could I have a seconder, please?
Eilio, Cadeirydd, pleased to support.
Thank you, Alan. Members, if you do not indicate to the contrary by raising your hand, I will assume that you are in favour of the recommendations, and Jane will confirm this for me once more.
I can see no indications to the contrary, Chair, so that item has been approved.
Thank you, Jane. Agenda item 16 is the Q1 performance indicators. This report is on pages 391 to 412 of your agenda pack and is here for monitoring. Do officers have anything further to add?
Nothing
further to add, Chair. Oh.
But that's okay, both of you. No, thank you. Members, do you have any questions on this agenda item? No? I don't see any online either. The item is here for monitoring, so no decision is required. Agenda item 17, before I run out of puff, is urgent items. I have no urgent items, so that this ends the business for today's Cabinet. Thank you all for attending, officers and members of Council and the Scrutiny Chair. Thank you. That was a long one.